It's really important that they don't direct people into, you've got to do this, you must do that, you've got to get treated. Because I think if they adopt that kind of really directive attitude, that's like the masculine control, and if it happens at the wrong time, it's not going to be effective. I think we should always be looking for opportunities, though, to let people know that treatment is there and that it is positive, and that treatment in all its forms is going to help people to deal with their issues. And a lot of families look at one side of that coin and push too hard on it. And I think it is really important that drug users feel comfortable enough that they can express to their families how difficult it is to give up drugs, and what they're going to lose from that. And we might think that they're only going to gain, but in reality, for a lot of them, they are going to lose stuff. They're going to lose companionship, they're going to lose ritual, they're going to lose the high that they get from drugs and the benefit that they get from drugs and the medicine that they get from drugs in a lot of cases. So it's not as simple as if you give them up, everything's going to be better. Drugs are very much part of young people's world now. It doesn't matter what country you live in, doesn't matter what the economic background of the family is, young people are going to encounter drugs. I think the first thing is not to panic. I think you need to take a deep breath and just step back, and before you react, just think about it, maybe get support from an organisation like ours, and there are plenty of these organisations now around the world. And then when you do approach the child and you do talk to the child, you do it in a way that is likely to give positive outcomes rather than negative. We recommend using what we call I statements. So instead of attacking them with you, we say, just take a breath and say, I'm concerned, we are concerned, we believe that you are, we would like you to know that we're going to support you. If there's anything you want to tell us, I think a lot of prevention could occur if people acted a bit earlier. Although by instinct it is almost part of our denial process to kind of hope that it's going to go away or hope it's not happening. I think most families like me, and most of the people who ring our line or contact us for support actually leave it too late. And by the time they seek support, there's actually a major problem happening. Most families want to be involved, want to know what's going on. And so I think the first thing from families' point of view is to recognise that this is their issue and their treatment, and that they should respect that, and that they should take a supportive role, but a step backward in how they deal with it. They should be motivational, and by that I mean being positive, being ready for people to come home, and realizing that, you know, even when people have had success with any form of treatment, that doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to go out and get a job, get married and have a family and everybody's going to live happily ever after. In fact, there's a lot of coming to terms with the fact that that doesn't happen even when people go into treatment and are successful. I think if it's a maintenance treatment using pharmacotherapies, then I think it's a question of, again, having knowledge and information of what that treatment is and what it isn't. It's a common experience because it happens all the time. So one of the first things we educate families is that this is a chronic lapsing condition, and that lapsing is normal and it will happen, and that in fact it's far more unlikely for it not to happen than it is to happen. It's disappointing when you expect a lot from treatment and it doesn't work out, and you know, we know the success rates of an individual attempt at treatment are quite low, but we know over time they do become successful. we would recommend that they do keep communication open, that they do go and visit, and they do let that person know that they're still supported, so that they can then cope with the separation themselves. I think we need to push for better ways of dealing with drugs in prison. There is very, very little support given to families who have people in the prison system. So, for instance, just the simple fact that overdose is, very, very likely to, or is more likely to happen when people immediately come out of jail than any other time. A lot of families don't realise that, and we've had some really tragic cases where that's happened, where people have just come out of prison and the first thing they've done is gone and used, and they've died from an overdose. The family aren't notified of that possibility, and therefore, there's a whole lot of stuff that we could do to support families better, just in education and awareness of what it's going to be like when they come out.